welcome to another session of Building Blocks. I'm Judy Brown from the Little Fabric Garden, and I'm here today to show you a nice fall project. I hope you like it as much as I do. It really came out quite nice, and customers that have come into the store have really liked it too. It's this little project right here in front of me. And since fall is coming, you know, the leaves will be falling, I decided that I was going to try this. I had seen it years ago, but it wasn't this small. It was like a big quilt, and I thought, well, let me try it at a smaller scale and see how it works, and I was really pleased with it, and so I'm passing it on to you. It is not hard. I will explain to you when I get to that point what is the biggest pain in the neck, and I will tell you how to get around that. So anyway, this is our project, and what you need is 8 light colors. All right, now mine aren't really light. I was going for the fall look, so my lights aren't really light, but you need 8 light and you need 8 dark. Now some of my fabrics are the same because I had other fabrics that I thought would look nice with a particular fabric, so I kind of put them together. So some of them will be in this little project twice. So this is what we have, and you will need 5.5 by 11 piece of each one of these. You will need 5.5 by 11 of the light ones and 5.5 by 11 of the dark ones. You will also need 1/8 of a yard for an inner border. You will need 1/6 of a yard, and it's right on, so you know, you may want to go to 7 inches so that if you cut wrong, you know, you still have a little wiggle room. And this is the outside border, and then you need 1/4 of a yard of your binding. All right, so this is what we have, and this is an easy project, well, mostly. Okay, so when you get, you know, your strips, you will cut each one of these. Now, when I did this, I cut like a big strip, and then I've been working off of this. But your piece will be like 5.5 by 11.5 or 12 or whatever. And then you're going to cut it into 2 5.5-inch squares. So each one of these is going to be a 5.5 or 2 5.5-inch squares. And what I did was I took the fabrics and I matched them up. I found them a partner. And I pinned those 2 fabrics together so that they would be partners throughout the whole thing. So their partner wouldn't leave them or lose them. I pinned them together so that they would be all together. So that's what we're going to do. And then when you get the partners cut, the 5-inch, you know, pieces cut, the squares cut, then we will go on from there. Okay, so you're going to take 2 of those 5-inch squares, and you are going to put them together. Here's 2 5-inch squares. I've got the leaf green. You see how I pin them together so they don't get lost? And then I have the solid. So what I will do is I am going to take this and I am going to put them right sides together like this. And now, because I was going quickly, mine aren't really like exactly 5.5-inch squares, but that doesn't make any difference. All right, now there are 2 different ways you can do this next little thing. I've got this little tool which helps when I want to do half square triangles, which is what I'm going to be doing on this. And this tool is really cool. You just put it like this, right diagonally down there, and then you draw on either side. Now, because I'm such a klutz, I always draw the first line and then I turn it because I can't work real well doing this. I'm not very coordinated. And so then I'm going to do this. All right, so this is one way to do this, and it's the easiest way for me. And then what I will do, and I will go to the machine and I will sew down here and then back on that line. Now, the other way that you can do this, and a lot of people do it, which is fine, it, you know, works out great, is you can draw a line from corner to corner. And then you will put your ruler and measure 1/4 of an inch from that line that you drew and draw another line. You know, this seems to take away that second little step. So that's why I use this quite a bit. All right, so I am going to take this over to the machine and I am going to cut down there. So remember, we've got the partners together and I am going to sew these guys together. And like I said, my squares aren't really squares. I don't know what they are. They're just pieces. So it's kind of nice because the line is already drawn and you really don't have to measure anything now. It's all done and all you have to do is like flip it around and, you know, and sew on the line that you've already drawn. Kind of a fun thing to do. Okay, so I went over and I got my rotary cutter because I forgot to bring it over here with me. And as you can see, I sewed down here and then I sewed back this way. And now what I'm going to do is to cut down the middle of this. So I am going to put this little guy right in here. It doesn't have to be perfect because what we are going to be worried about is this over here. So I hope it doesn't slip on me, but I'm gonna try. Okay, so I did that. I'm gonna move that out of the way. And now when I open this up, I have a half square triangle. Well, in fact, I have 2 half square triangles. Let me get this mess off here. All right, so we have twins here, okay? And they are the partners. So I'm gonna press this and then I'm gonna show you what we do next. So I'm just gonna go over here and get this pressed. And you can see, like, my half square triangles are a mess here. But one of the reasons that I do this I make them bigger than what they're really supposed to be, because you can always trim them down, but you can't add to them. So, you know, like if I make these things too small, then I'm like out of luck. I have to start all over again. But if you make them too big, then you can go back and, you know, you can go cut them to what they need to be, and then they'll be perfect. All right, so what I need to do now that I've got these wonky looking things, look at this thing sticking out there. All right, we have got to trim this to make it a 5-inch square. So I've got my little square with me, and I am going to be honest, I left my other one at home, and I don't usually use this, so let's keep our fingers crossed that I do it right. All right, so I put this, there's a diagonal line here, and I don't know if you can see it or not, it's right there. And that diagonal line is going to go on that seam that's diagonal on this half square triangle. So I will put that here, and then I will trim it this way. All right, so I've got that, and now I'm going to turn it around, and I am going to match it up to the 5, and make sure that diagonal is going on that seam, and then I'm going to trim this. So I have a lot of fabric left over, you know, but it sure looks a whole lot better than this one, you know, so that's the important thing about getting them trimmed up. So I'm going to trim up this other one, and then I will show you what's next. This is a fun project. And, you know, I'm sorry that, you know, let's see, fall is right around the corner, but I really do believe that you will be able to get it finished if you want to try it. It is fun. Okay. All right, so you will do that same thing with each set of partners of those 5.5 inch squares. You will do that same thing. All right, so here they are, and I'm going to put these here, and oops, here's another one. I did this one at home last night with another set, and let me get this cut, and then we'll kind of go from there. And I'll press this open, and then we'll have 2 that look like this. So you have to remember that your partners you need those to stay together, the same partners. You can't go switching any partners. Once they're partners for life in this project. All right, so we've got these guys done. All right, I need to get these trimmed up. You know, we've done a couple of block of the months at the store, and the one company always has you make things really big. And some of the gals are like, why do they do that? And the reason is so that you can square it down to get the size that you need, and everything will be the same size. So that you don't have one that's, you know, like 5 inches and another one that's like wonky at 4.5 or whatever. And these half square triangles, they can get pretty wonky. So that's why I like to make them bigger, so that we don't have to worry about that. It's, you know, it takes time to get them all squared up, but, you know, in the long run, it's worth it. Yeah, I'll have to remind myself that I said that when I'm doing these, you know, because it does drive you crazy sometimes doing them all. All right. Okay, so those are set. All right, so the next step in this, after I throw all this stuff in the garbage, is you need a leaf. You know, you need your leaf, your oak leaf. So in your pattern, there is a pattern for you to trace for your oak leaf, and you are going to need 16 of them. All right, and so like when I do mine, I use Wonder Under because that's what I've used ever since I've been sewing. You know, there's different ones that you can use. Some people like other ones, and I've used some of them. I just keep going back to this one because that's the one that I've always used. So there are 2 sides to these. There's a smooth side, and then there's kind of a little bumpy side. I mean, it's not like really bumpy like driving, you know, down one of our streets here, but it's got like little bumps, which is the glue. So you're going to trace this on the smooth side, and then you are going to cut these out about this size, and you will put that on the back of one of these guys. All right, and you put it on the back, your 5-inch square, 5.5-inch square that you have. This one will go here, and then you'll press it down. And then it'll stick on there, and then you will cut all 16 of them out. Now, this takes time because, you know, when you look at it, I mean, there's a lot of little bumps and indents and all of that. So that takes a little time, especially when it's fused to the fabric. But they come out looking really, really great, and I'm pretty sure that you will be happy with them. All right, so here are the ones for these partners, and if you take a look, you see the partners are still partners. All right, now what I'm going to do to this is I am going to cut this right down the middle. All right, so I'm going to take this little ruler and I am going to cut this down the middle like this, and I'm going to do the same with the partner. And so all right, so now what happens is that you're going to take the solid one and you are going to put it on this side, the leafy side, and then you're going to take the leafy one and you're going to put it on the solid side. So it's going to look like this. And then we'll take the fusible stuff off the back and we'll press it down, and then it will be in place. All right, so give me a second here and I'm going to see if I can get these off without yelling, because sometimes they just don't want to do what I want them to do. All right, so there's that one. Just lay it down and you just put you know, that side that you cut, you try and get it as close to that seam as you can. Now sometimes they move when you're pressing them. It's no big deal, nobody's going to notice, and if they do, shame on them if they bring it to your attention. So I've got those together, and I'm going to bring it over here to the ironing board, and I am going to press that down. Right, so it did move a little bit, but nobody's going to know. No one's going to care. Okay, so press it down. Right, and so this is what this one looks like. All right, I'm going to do the other one, and then I'm going to go over to the orange and gold one and let you see how that works. All right, again, this is the leafy one, so it's going to go on. I think I'm going to try and turn it this way and see if I can do it upside down so you can see it better. All right, so got that one down. Now we're going to get this one next to it. Put that in here. The thing that I try to do is I try to get this curve up here at the top to be as close as possible. Now sometimes the bottoms of these leaves where the stem comes down, sometimes they don't match up real well, but it's not that big a deal. So I've got those two in place, I think, unless it moves. And I'm going to bring it over here, and I'm going to do the same thing. And like I said, I mean, you can use any colors you want. I just decided I wanted to do fall because fall was coming up, and I had some pretty fabrics in the store, so I decided that I wanted to do those. All right, so those are the green ones, and now I'm going to move over, and I'm going to do this one. The other ones that go with it, because you have to do 16 of these. I did them at home last night so that, you know, like you wouldn't fall asleep watching this, you know, so that we could just kind of keep on going. And I'll show you what they all look like as we go further. So that in here, and here we go with these partners, and I will do the same thing. Now, if you're really brave, you could put them one on top of the other and then cut them both at the same time, but I'm not quite that brave. So I'm going to do them separately. Right, there's those two. I'm going to get the goldy yellow one. We are going to do this. Maybe. Well, the green one worked real well, and this one's going to give me a hard time. Okay. This one you'll really be able to see. The green's in this one, you know, kind of blended, and so it's not as vibrant. You can't really see the difference, but this one you will definitely be able to see how pretty they look when you do this. So there's that. Slide that over just a tad bit. Move this out of the way. Whoops. Okay, straighten that little bugger out. And then just press it down. I usually do it in the middle first. You know, like if you're using your big iron at home, it covers the whole thing, so you really don't have to worry about that. But with the little iron here, I do the middle first and then I move out. So this is very noticeable. You really can see the contrast in it. It's really pretty. All right, so let's move on to this one. You try to butt those sides as closely as possible. Oops. All right, let's see if I can stay where it. Well, this may split up a little bit, but nobody's going to notice it but me and you. Okay, so anyway, this is what they look like. All right, here's two of them. I'll show you some of the other ones too, and then I'll explain what we will be doing, what you'll be doing next. I'm not going to take you through the whole thing because I don't think that this is the most important part. And I think once you get this, then you'll be able to put them together and sew the rows together because it is quite easy. So let me slide this guy over a little bit. All right, so there's this one. The one, you know, some of them, like I said, the contrast is harder to see. Like this one's very easy. This one's not too bad. But if you do a print with the solid, then you really can see them. So there's that one. There's this one. Okay. Definitely a contrast on this one, and here's the other one, because you'll get two, like as you saw, from each one. And then this is the last one. Okay, so if you've done any applique work before, you know that you usually blanket stitch around them or zigzag around them. But if you try to do that with this, I think that you would be screaming, because with all of the curves and the ins and the outs, what I did on this was I did them individually, like I did them this size, and I just top stitched all the way around. Now it takes time, but it's a lot easier than trying to do a blanket stitch that looks good, or a zigzag that looks good going around it. And I don't know that you can see it, but that's how I did these. I just top stitched all the way around it. It worked out really well. And I did them when they were this size, because you don't want to have all that bulk of the rest of them when you're trying to do that. Okay, so what we're going to do next is we're going to get these blocks together. I did not do one of these rows by themselves. I did them in groups of 4. And the reason that I did that was because I wanted to make sure that I had the stems of the leaves all in the middle. And because I'm such a scatterbrain sometimes, I was afraid that I wouldn't get 2 going one way and then another 2, so I decided to do the 4 together. So it doesn't make any difference how you do it. You just need to have 4 of them together, and I'm just going to go down and maybe take them in order just to show you what we're going to do. And you can see that all the stems are pointing to the middle. So, and then this will make an oak 4-patch. All right, so you will sew these 4 together, and then you will do another 4. You will sew those together. So when you're done, you will have 4 sets of these, and then you will sew those together. And once you get them together, then you're going to put the binding and the borders on. And I think that most of you, can do that. The binding was cut at 1 1/4 inches, and the outside border was cut at 2 inches. So this one is a little different than the one that's in here. I ran out of this fabric, so this is one of my favorite fabrics. I think it's gorgeous. I love the color of it. So you will measure, after you get these guys together, you will measure the side. You will put the piece here, here, then you will do top and bottom. Then you will do the same thing with your outside border. All right, and when I got that part done and I got the borders on, you can't see it very well, and I just went down in the ditch. You know, you can do it in the ditch and it will hold it, and then maybe go around the outside here, and then put the binding on, and it will be done. It's a pretty quick project. It is really pretty. I've had lots and lots of comments on it, and like I said, the thing that takes the longest is sewing around all of that, and cutting them and then sewing them. It does take quite a while to do that, but it's worth it in the end. You could put a sleeve on the back and you could hang it, or you could just put it, you know, like on your coffee table, or, you know, one of your end tables or something with a lamp, or, you know, anything. It's just really, really pretty. And it doesn't have to be fall. You could do it in Christmas colors, or you could do something that matches your house. It doesn't make any difference. And you know what? If you could find something else to put in here, you know, like something that you could split down the middle and put on either side, that would work too. You know, like maybe apples, or, you know, just some different things, blooms, I don't know. But I went for the oak leaf because I thought it would be really good fitting in there. So I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you try it. And if you do, please put it on the site. The patterns are available here at the store, at the library, at the Bradford Library, and online. So please try it. I think you'll really, really like it. Have a great day and come back and see us again.